I could ask questions all day. The agile stuff, the tools you use, you know.
Are you guys still using the agile methodology even after launch?
Uh-huh.
So you guys do still do paired programming?
Yep. Yeah, we have a really small team right now. If everyone wants to join us, go talk to Tim.
Was that easy or hard to get used to?
I think it was. We got to. I guess it was hard and easy. I mean, for some people it was easy, some people it was hard, and the people on the team now, it's really easy for all of us. Some of the contractors we brought in weren't used to that, and it wasn't something that they.
Like the contractors from ThoughtWorks are not used to pairing?
No. ThoughtWorks contractors were very used to pairing.
Ah.
The people we brought in from India,
Okay.
they weren't too used to that, and so. And it's also just a general communication language there.
Now, were they paired with each other, or was the one paired with somebody at Metromix?
Well, at that point, it became more or less defensive pairing, which we don't like doing. So we would pair, and they pair with someone internally, someone from Metromix and someone from offshore would pair together, and that was basically to make sure that they didn't screw anything up, which isn't a good way to do it. And no one's contributing. Only one person's contributing at that point. And it's like, why even bother? Now our pairing is, I think, works really well. And we try to rotate our pairs as much as possible, but really we only have like 3 or 4 people on the team, so we don't rotate on that much.
Do you still have the offshore component? Or?
Yeah.
And they're still contributing code? Or?
Yeah, but we've kind of changed the scope of what they're contributing. They're focused a lot on deployment issues as well. We're trying to roll out more markets, and there's always just issues, configuration needs to be created, that type of stuff, and it's not something necessarily needs to be paired with. It's not necessarily programming. Some small little fixes here and there, but.
So what was QA's role in deployment before this, and what is the new role in deployment with the offshore?
The offshore QA, or how does it?
Well, sometimes QA is disconnected from real-time deployments.
Yeah.
If you deploy anytime.
We try to work with QA as closely as possible now, and just like on any successful agile project, you want to work with all the stakeholders, need to be working very closely together, and so from a deploy anytime, like we found a pretty decent bug earlier this week, and we needed to get a fix out that day for it. It was one line of code. It was just a nil check that we weren't doing, but we just went to QA and said, hey, we got to put your slug out by noon today. Can you test it? And they kind of dropped everything they were doing, went and looked at it, said, yeah, that looks good. Go ahead. And we just pushed it out, got the bug fix in.
Are you doing TDD?
Yes.
And who's really writing the acceptance tests?
Well, we write our own unit tests. The developers write their own unit tests.
Okay. And who's writing the acceptance?
The acceptance tests are written by the QA team.
Okay.
Do they write them in RSpec, or do they?
No, it's just more or less functional test plans that they put together.
So without the acceptance test without the input from the user, for the customer, or are they? I mean, I guess
no, they'll work together to develop the test plans. So if there's something in the requirements that's unclear to the QA, they'll go talk to the VAs about it and say, how's it supposed to work, or I noticed a little inconsistency on this, which is right, that type of stuff. So we're really trying to. Before there used to be like this wall of silence between QA and everybody else, and now we're breaking down those walls and just making sure that they sit with us and they talk to us, and just kind of changing that culture around a little bit to make sure that they're in on the process from the beginning.
Yeah. So how are the requirements conveyed then if it's not through the acceptance test?
Well, our BAs put together stories, which basically outline the requirements, and those get put into our. The QA team translates those into the acceptance test, and if there's any modifications to the. So we use Track for our issue tracking, and the story itself is checked into Track. Any changes to the story are added as comments to that story, And so that's kind of where the source of their, of all the requirements are sitting track.
Does the developer, before the iteration planning, is the QA's acceptance test criteria in there, like before the developer estimates it?
No.
So you throw an estimate on there for the iteration you're about to start, but you might not know exactly what the acceptance test phrase is.
Right. We only estimate out development. We're working to get QA to estimate their part as well.
I mean, like let's say, so if an acceptance test helps the developer and the business person know exactly what the functionality is, and you're estimating like, oh, that'll take me 2 days. But if the acceptance test isn't there, you might not really know what the full requirement is.
That's true.
As long as you get it eventually. As long as you get it before you say it's done.
Yeah.
If you have all of them in the same room,
Yeah.
they work it out, right?
Yeah. So one of the things we do is we go over, read through the stories together, business, QA, and dev, and anyone asks any questions they have on any of the things we see. If we see some conflicts, if we see some contradictions, if we need some clarification, all that stuff we kind of address at the IPM.
At the IPM, what other kinds of design artifacts do you have besides just the user story? Or is it it?
We do look at technical tasks, and so technology. We identify issues in the code that we need to clean up, or we need to fix this, and so we kind of write ourselves our own tasks, or technical tasks, not stories. So those do come out of IPMs.
Right,
as
do
well.
you have wireframes, interaction requirements, things like that?
That stuff
or
would
just
that stuff would be done before the IPM by business. So
that comes with
yeah, that comes with the stories. Yeah. And so we also have a designer who works with us to get all of our design needs met. Information architect who will kind of put together the wireframes, and then once design and development kind of work in pair in tandem to push out the final code.